It is the final race in the round of 12 here at the Talladega Superspeedway for the running of the Alabama 500. 12 drivers made it into the playoffs, and only 8 will come out of it alive and have a chance to contend for the title. Which 8 of those drivers will move on? Now let's take a look at your drivers to watch here at the Talladega Superspeedway. Brad Keselowski starts on pole today after having an impressive qualifying run. He already has won the Daytona 500, which was the other superspeedway racetrack on the season. Can he get a second superspeedway track and lock himself into the round of 8? Austin Dillon starts second today and has had one of the fastest cars in practice this week. He is hoping to convert that into a win. Can he get it done today and lock himself into the round of 8? And finally, Daniel Suarez. He won the last race at Kansas and has huge momentum after getting his first win on the season. Could he get a second win in this season and spoil someone's playoff hopes? Now it's time to send it down to your pit reporters for the Pro Gear Tires pre-race stories. Jennifer?
A driver in a must-win situation today is Daniel HEMRIC. After wrecking out at Kansas, he is looking for redemption to win here today. He starts 4th today. Can he do it? Dave?
Go back to the 12th position, and you will find playoff driver Alex Bowman. He is currently only 6 points above the cutoff line, and a bad performance today could end his title hopes. Toby?
Playoff driver Clint Bowyer starts from the back of the pack today after wrecking in qualifying. He is currently 1 point below the cutoff line, and is in danger of elimination. He needs to work his way through the field if he wants to stay in the playoffs. Daniel?
Even though the playoffs are heating up, there are some non-playoff drivers looking for a good performance today. Drivers like Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, and Bubba Wallace all start just outside the top 10 and have fast race cars. Those drivers are looking for a win and would do anything to get it. Back to you, Aiden.
Thanks, Daniel, and to all our pit reporters. Great job on your guys' work. Now we'll take a look at your playoff standings before Talladega. There are 5 drivers around the cutoff line that are in danger of elimination if they don't have a good performance. Alex Bowman, Joey Logano, Kyle Larson, Clint Bowyer, and Eddie Gallagher. All of those drivers need a good performance if they want to advance on to the next round of playoffs. But Daniel HEMRIC needs to win if he wants to move on. Now we'll take a run down the Talladega Superspeedway on your GoPro on-track car. So this is a similar track to Daytona, except a shorter straightaway. There's like a short piece of Hot Wheels track, and then it goes down to a long straightaway. The drivers are going to have to stay in the middle if they want to improve their way and move to the front of the field. Now let's head trackside for the command to fire engines.
Race fans, it's time for the most famous words in motorsports. Here to give the command, please welcome Talladega Superspeedway Chairman Grant Lynch.
On behalf of our great friends at Geico, drivers, start your engines!
The engines have been fired and we are ready to go racing here at the Talladega. Your pace car driver today is Josh Doing Things YT. He is going to be driving the 92 Ford Mustang. He'll be out whenever there is a caution and wherever the field needs to be reset. So now it's time to start segment number 1. In row 1 are 2 playoff drivers, the 2 car of Brad Keselowski and the 42 car of Kyle Larson. In row 2, the 17 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and the 28 car of Joseph West. In row 3, the 31 car of Tyler Reddick and the 22 car of Joey Logano. Then rounding out the field in the 78 car is Nico Moon. Joey Logano takes the segment win and will move on to the final stage. But it all happened here when Brad Keselowski got loose heading down the track and fell back a few positions, and that allowed Joey Logano to move to the front. And on lap 4, he managed to clear Kyle Larson and to take home the segment win. I think that's his second segment win of the season. A great job by Joey Logano to get another segment win and to move on to the final stage. This might be what he needs to move on to the next round. Joey Logano finishes first, Kyle Larson second, Brad Keselowski third, Joseph West fourth, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. fifth, Kiko Moon in 6th, Tyler Reddick in 7th. Now we move on to segment number 2. In row 1, the only 2 playoff drivers in this segment, the 3 car of Austin Dillon and the 81 car of Eddie Gallagher. In row 2, the 11 car of Denny Hamlin and the 19 car of Martin Truex Jr. In row 3, the 24 car of William Byron and the 18 car of Kyle Busch. Then rounding out the field is the 10 car of Eric Almirola and the 35 car of Spencer Boyd. Eric Almirola is wrecked out and is out of this race. He managed to work his way to the front of the field after starting in the back, but let's see what happened. Here's lap 4. He was on the outside of Austin Dillon. He got on the wall, and he must have just got loose, and he must have just hopped and wrecked out. Terrible, not good luck for Eric Almirola, as he's had very bad luck this entire season of not finishing races and having bad performances. But Austin Dillon is going to win this segment after going backwards, barely by over Martin Truex Jr. So Austin Dillon first, Martin Truex Jr. second, William Byron moves up to third, Eddie Gallagher back to fourth, Kyle Busch fifth, Denny Hamlin sixth, and Spencer Boyd in seventh. Now we move on to segment number 3. In row 1 is the 48 car of Jimmy Johnson and the 41 car of Daniel Suarez. In row 2, the 9 car of Chase Elliott and the 6 car of Ryan Newman. In row 3, the 20 car of Eric Jones and the 4 car of Kevin Harvick. Then rounding out the field is the 01 car of Vinny Nightlife and the 13 car of Ty Dillon, who will manage to take home the third segment win. Ryan Newman takes the segment win after taking the lead on lap 3. He never gave it back. He blocked Jimmy Johnson from taking the lead and then managed to hold off the rest of the field. Great job by Ryan Newman to get the segment win. This lap 4, he almost gets passed by Johnson, but manages to block him, and then he spins out across the line. But Ryan Newman finishes first, Jimmy Johnson second, Daniel Suarez third, Chase Elliott fourth, Kevin Harvick fifth, Eric Jones sixth, Vinny Nightlife 7th, and Ty Dillon in 8th. Now we move on to segment number 4. In row 1 is the 2 playoff drivers, the 8 car of Daniel HEMRIC and the 12 car of Ryan Blaney. In row 2, the 88 car of Alex Bowman and the 43 car of Bubba Wallace. In row 3, the 21 car of Matt Crafton and the 1 car of Kurt Busch. Then rounding the field is the 95 car of Matt DiBenedetto and the 14 car of Clint Bowyer. Daniel HEMRIC holds off Ryan Blaney in a duel as both drivers went back and forth for the lead every time. But in the lap 4, Daniel HEMRIC managed to take the lead over by a car length and managed to hold on. Bowyer tried to help Blaney give him a push, but ultimately it was too late for Blaney to make a run. So Daniel HEMRIC finishes first, Ryan Blaney second, Clint Bowyer third, Alex Bowman fourth, Matt Crafton fifth, Matt DiBenedetto sixth, Bubba Wallace 7th, and Kurt Busch in 8th. We'll take a quick break and be right back with the rest of the race. This is a message brought to you by the North Racing Foundation. Wash your hands. Wash your hands for 20 seconds. Right now, do it. Go do it. Go. Oh, we're waiting. Come on. You better go. Go wash them for 20 seconds. Hurry up. Go. 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 Come on. Hurry up. Okay, you did it? Good job. Now, back to your regular scheduling programming on Egg North Racing. Welcome back. It's now time for your Ninja Cafe mid-race reports. Let's send it on to Toby. Toby?
The final segment could be the host of who will make it into the next round of the playoffs. Daniel HEMRIC needs to win to move on, while Joey Logano just needs to outduel Kyle Larson and Clint Bowyer. Dave.
I talked to Eric Almirola after he came out of the infield care center. He told me that it's been a rough season for the number 10 team. They have had speed, but have had issue in almost all their races this season. Daniel.
The placing races are going to be crucial to these playoff drivers. Some of them, such as Eddie Gallagher and Alex Bowman, had poor segment races and have to win their way into the seconds and thirds race. That is the only way those drivers can get into the next round of the playoffs. Back to you, Aiden.
Thanks, Daniel, and to all of our marvelous pit reporters. Now it's time for the 6th and 7th race, which will be led down by Joe Gibbs' teammates, Denny Hamlin and Eric Jones. One of these drivers will move on to the 4th and 5th race. Denny Hamlin manages to take the 6th and 7th race win as he will move on to the 4th and 5th race. He had almost no challenge, but he manages to work his way into the 4th and 5th race. So Denny Hamlin first, Bubba Wallace second, Eric Jones third, Spencer Boyd in 4th, Matt DiBenedetto 5th, Tyler Reddick 6th, Kiko Moon in 7th, and Ving Nightlife in 8th. Now we move on to the 4th and 5th race, which is going to be a crucial race. Both Eddie Gallagher and Alex Bowman are both playoff drivers. If they want to continue in the playoffs, they need to win and move on to the 2nd and 3rd race. Who will take home the segment win? Chase Elliott will take the segment win and spoil both Eddie Gallagher and Alex Bowman's playoff hopes. But on lap 1, it looks like Alex Bowman tried to pass on the inside of Eddie Gallagher, and they both spin out and resulting in them starting in the 2nd row. Then on lap 2, it looks like Eddie Gallagher then deliberately wrecks Alex Bowman, spins him out, and shoves him to the inside of the wall. I'm not sure what that was about. But anyways, Chase Elliott finishes 1st, Kraft in 2nd, Eddie Gallagher 3rd, Stenhouse in 4th, Bowman 5th, Denny Hamlin 6th, Joseph West 7th, Kevin Harvick 8th, and Kyle Busch in 9th. Now we head to the 2nd and 3rd race. In row 1, we have the 48 car of Jimmie Johnson and the 12 car of Ryan Blaney. In row 2, we have the 42 car of Kyle Larson and the 19 car of Martin Truex Jr. In row 3, the 2 car of Brad Keselowski and the 41 car of Daniel Suarez. In row 4, the 24 car of William Byron and the 14 car of Clint Bowyer. Then rounding out the field is the 9 car of Chase Elliott. Two drivers who need to move on to the final stage are Clint Bowyer and Kyle Larson if they want to have a chance to move on into the playoffs. So who will move on to the final stage? Kyle Larson wins the 2nd and 3rd race after an incredible move. Both Keselowski and Bowyer have issues and spin out of control, but then Larson goes from the bottom to the top to manage to get around Jimmie Johnson to take home the 2nd and 3rd race and to move on to the final stage. Look how close that is. So Larson moves on, Jimmie Johnson will move on, Ryan Blaney will move on, and then William Byron just beats out Brad Keselowski to take the final spot and move on to the final stage. So Kyle Larson 1st, Jimmie Johnson 2nd, Ryan Blaney 3rd, William Byron 4th, Brad Keselowski 5th, Clint Bowyer 6th, Chase Elliott 7th, Daniel Suarez 8th, and Martin Truex Jr. 9th. Because Clint Bowyer did not make it into the final stage, he will not move on into the next round of the playoffs. Now it's time for the final stage. In row 1 are RCR teammates Austin Dillon and Daniel HEMRIC. In row 2, the 6 car of Ryan Newman and the 22 car of Joey Logano. In row 3, the 42 car of Kyle Larson and the 48 car of Jimmy Johnson. Then in the 4th row is Ryan Blaney and William Byron. So here's the situation. So if HEMRIC wins, then he locks himself into the round of 8. Then Logano and Larson have to fight it out for the final playoff spot. But if anyone but HEMRIC wins, then both Logano and Larson are in. So, who will win here at Talladega? Daniel HEMRIC does what no one thought was possible and wins when he needed to win the most. He was in 3rd after an issue with Dillon, but manages to get a push from Johnson to get the win. I'm not sure. Larson tried to pass and try to lock himself into the next round. If you look at the finish line cam here, it looked like that Dillon, did he deliberately block Larson to prevent him from winning? It looks like he might have, and he gets a push from Johnson to get the win. So HEMRIC finishes 1st, Austin Dillon 2nd, Jimmy Johnson 3rd, Kyle Larson 4th, Joey Logano 5th, Ryan Newman 6th, William Byron 7th, and Ryan Blaney in 8th. It's going to be really close to see who got that final spot between Larson and Logano. But anyway, it's now time for your Danny's Donut Shop victory celebration, as Daniel HEMRIC is going to burn it down here at Talladega. Daniel HEMRIC is going to celebrate as he wins here at Talladega and locks himself into the round of 8. A great performance by Daniel HEMRIC. Now let's send it down to victory lane where Jennifer's waiting for her interview.
Daniel, how does it feel to win here at Talladega and to punch your ticket into the round of 8?
It feels amazing. I knew we had the car to do it. It was just the matter of who would help us. I thank Jimmy for pushing us to the win and to all the guys at RCR who made this car and helped us get the win.
Thanks Daniel, and congratulations. Back to you Aiden.
Thanks Jennifer, and congratulations to Daniel. Now let's take a look at your finishing positions. HEMRIC first, which locks himself into the playoffs. Some notable finishes. William Byron was the only driver in the final 8 who was not a non-playoff driver and finished 7th. A great performance by him. Now to your 21st through 30th. Some also notable positions. Kiko Moon in his first start finishes 27th, and Eric Almirola, who wrecked out, finishes 30th. Disappointing season for Almirola as he's going to look toward next season. Now here are your playoff standings after Talladega, and Joey Logano and Larson tied in points. Logano is going to move on because he had a better average finishing position during the round than Larson, as it was very close between the two of them, as it was only one position that would have made the difference. Here are your playoff standings before the round of 8. Ryan Newman sits on top of the standings, while Dylan, Keselowski, and Blaney all sit above. But that's only before the round of 8. There will be 2 races. We got the Charlotte Roval and Martinsville. Those 2 races will be in close races that will determine who will manage to move on to the final 4. So Daniel HEMRIC wins here at Talladega and moves on to the round of 8. The next race will be the Charlotte Roval, the first race of the round of 8 where anyone can win. So I'm Aiden North, and I'll see you at the Roval.